Hey everyone, this is Kimber.
And this is Matthew Whitaker.
Be sure to check out our new show on Screen Mayhem and Odd Shaped Channel TV Three-Way.
Have you ever wanted to have a three-way? And have you ever wanted to keep your clothes on for it? Well, this is the way to do it. We pick a pilot of a TV show. It's Kimber, me, and somebody. Could be you. And we talk about, is it bingeable? Was it sexy? Okay, maybe we don't actually talk about that at all. But yeah.
Yeah, check us out, TV Three-Way. It's a three-way, but it's not sex.
It's not sex. It is, however, TV.
Okay, you want to listen to that, Tom?
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Odd Shaped Channel. You're tuned into From Code to Script, and I'm your host TJ. With this show, we will be diving into the wide-release video game-based films from over the years, the differences between the game and the movie, and why maybe these films don't work majority of the time. Today, we are jumping down into the pipes and talking about Super Mario Brothers. With me today, I have a special guest, the king of the underground fame and fortune, the host of the Mormo Zone on the Odd Shaped Channel, Mormo. What's going on, bud?
Hey, man, glad to be here and glad to talk about this movie. It's definitely an interesting one.
It's a trip. And with that, man, what is your verdict straight off the bat of this film? What do you think about it?
I think it's a good movie. It's just not a good Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, and it's like funny you say that because from 1993 when this came out and you hear about like, you know, how popular Super Mario Brothers was from the 80s until then, you thought you'd had a hit right off the bat. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Straight with the titles. And like with that, you got, which I was reading some special features about it and special like notes. Bob Hoskins didn't even know anything about Super Mario Brothers. And with Bob Hoskins, he's playing the titular character Super Mario, basically.
Wow, I'm surprised like he didn't have kids who played Super Mario or something. It surprises me how anybody could not be aware of it.
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't know if anyone knows this, but Bob Hoskins is British. So like first when he was cast as this Italian New York character, it's supposed to be Super Mario. People were kind of like offhand about it because the casting for Mario in itself was supposedly like a crazy process. You know, they had like Michael Keaton and like Arnold Schwarzenegger in to do it.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, because, well, they, like, tricked people when it came to the script. So originally the idea for this movie was, like, follow the actual game is, like, do this mystical adventure where you go into actual, like, Mushroom Kingdom. And they had the script written for it and everything, and that's what they used to get a lot of people to sign on.
Oh, wow. And then they switched and used a different script?
Yeah, they flip-flopped on them because the directors, there's two directors, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, they've only did like commercials and stuff before this. So this is like, I believe their first film they did. But he wanted to go for more of like an adult featured film. They even like hired the designer from Blade Runner. And that's why when you get down into like Dino Kingdom, it's so dark and murky. It looks like an 80s film.
Yeah, there was a lot of movies in the 80s like this, like The Dark Backwards and Meet the Hollowheads that were kind of about different alternative realities and stuff and like grimy versions of reality. And that's where this movie doesn't work, I think, as a Mario film, is that Mario was so bright and colorful. And then this movie is so dirty and dingy and dark. And
yeah, even the character of Mario, like in this movie, like in the video game, he's so, you know, they make him seem so happy and, you know, lighthearted. In this movie, Bob Hoskins play him as like that hard-nosed, blue-collar plumber, which they really like. From the opening scenes when you meet the Mario Brothers and you have three plungers, a long one to a shorter one to like a smaller one against the wall, you're just like, they're really just living up that plumber thing.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious and like plumber jokes.
Throughout the entire movie, it's just like plumber this, plumber that. So yeah, like the background like running down this film and like going through all the notes, I was seeing like that it was such a hellish, like on-scene thing that the directors were crazy monsters. Again, they lied about the original script to get people to sign on, then flipped it on everybody and went from like a more adult version to even to where like the entire cast throughout this entire filming process was hammered the entire time. They said like John Leguizamo was hammered. Bob Hoskins, of course, was drunk half the time, to the point to where they're doing scenes and they have a chase in the beginning with the plumber's van, and you got Bob Hoskins is just hanging on, and John Leguizamo playing Luigi slams on the brake and breaks Bob Hoskins' finger in the door slam. So he had like throughout the movie, if you like pay attention, you can see like these little pink casts on his finger and stuff like that.
Wow, yeah, I can imagine a lot of drinking. It seems like there also must have been a lot of cocaine in the like planning of this movie. And...
You would have to like just to think the idea like let's go into this magical world for kids, and then this guy must have just had a binge night where he sat into a room, had a pile of this, had a pile of that, took it all to the face, and then it was like, you know what? Let's do an adult version of this. Like John Leguizamo said, they had like actually like sexual explicit scenes in the film that just ended up on the cutting room floor.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
they should do a reboot then, like a new version with all the extra footage. And also, it's kind of a shame that they never did a video game version of the movie. I think that would have been interesting too.
Yeah, that would make, because they normally do things like that. Sometimes when they take like a video game, which they did with this, which is the very first one they did, when they take a video game and then make it into a movie, you always get that adjunct like movie version of the video game next. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't you get a John Leguizamo and a Bob Hoskins like video game?
It would have been great. Still could be to a cult audience, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Like you would see someone like John Snepp, who did like Death of Superman, dive into like the background of this film. Unfortunately, the passing of Bob Hoskins, rest in peace, couldn't get his aspect of it. But I know like the number one quote they have from him, like the very last one right before he passed, he said that it was a complete nightmare and he hated every minute of it. Like that was the one movie he never wanted to do again. And you got to think he's coming off of Roger Rabbit. And then diving into this, and he's just like, what did I get myself into?
Wow, that's awesome. And this movie should have been a lot more like Roger Rabbit, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Because at that point, you can still like go to the adult aspect of it, but still you're for kids, basically. You get all the characters in the place. And like that's when we dive into like the plot of the movie, that's the one thing they miss so hard in this, other than Bob Hoskins being probably the most perfect Mario if you were going to go to like this gritty adult version. You got to think like gritty movies is like the thing now that everyone says, but this is like in 93 where everything is just like happy, bright. You know, you don't lock your doors at night. You let your kids run down 3 blocks. You're not worried about them, stuff like that. And this movie, they're just like, you know what? Kids love this. Screw it. Let's go straight dark. They went there.
Yeah, totally.
So let's dive right into this plot of this movie. When's the last time you saw it?
I watched it on YouTube about a week ago, I think. I saw it on the big screen when I was a kid.
Yeah, did you go to the theater and see this?
Yeah.
What was like your love for Mario? Were you like obsessed with the game growing up? Like what was your history with the game leading into this movie?
I think everybody in my generation was obsessed with the game. And you know, I got my Nintendo when I was, I think like 8 or something, and played the hell out of the game, part 2, part 3. And did this one thing I wondered about this movie, did this come out after part 3 or?
So part 3, I believe, came out the summer of 93, and this was no, I'm sorry. This came out after the number 3, because it actually has characters from the third one in this movie that they just twisted all around. So yeah, not sure about the Super NES version. Well, I mean, yeah, it would have to, because you have Yoshi. So yeah, it came after all these movies, and this is what you ended up getting out of this. You know what I mean? The climax of all those video games, you get this.
Yeah, I love the games, though. I was a big fan. Super Mario 2 is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Oh, that's easily the hardest one. And the coolest part about that is you could choose, you know, Luigi, Mario, Peach, or Toad. And Peach was the best character because she like floated.
Yeah.
So you could jump over all those things. Yeah, Super Mario 2 was the hardest. 3 for me is probably my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that was a good one too, with the different suits and stuff.
Yeah, and like people don't really even bring up like the Donkey Kong Mario, like the original.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like weird how that never really comes into, you know, talks about those games. You just like 1, 2, 3, and then you got Super Nintendo, then N64. Or Super Mario 64. So it's like weird that you had all those games, all like that lush stuff to dive into, and you came out with this, which is weird because I was reading also with the castings for Mario, Danny DeVito was supposed to be Mario and direct it, this movie.
Oh, wow. That would have been good.
Yeah, because he wanted to have like a more, you know, the children's version. So he wanted to read the script, but they literally wouldn't let him touch it until he said, yes, I'll do it. So for him not being able to read it, he was like, no, don't worry about it.
Wow, that's wild that they would do that with such a huge property. It must have cost a lot to license it, I would think.
Yeah, you would think. So the movie cost $42 million to make, like altogether, and it only made 20 mil.
Wow, that's bad.
And you would think across seas it would have have some type of a hit because that's where the game came from. But no, it just completely tanked.
It must have got really bad word of mouth. Well, even from the trailers, you could see that it wasn't Mario. You know?
Yeah, they were saying the directors, even before the film was basically right before when they finished filming, the very last day, everybody came in, fired the directors. The two directors that were supposed to like monsters, they were like throwing hot coffee on extras, screaming at people, obviously letting the cast like run amok, you know what I mean? But once they were fired, they weren't allowed in the cutting room. So basically they had to pull all this stuff together, just get a film out there to make some type of money to recap what they spent on it.
Yeah, and I noticed it's not even on Roku's search feature. Yeah, like every movie's on there, whether you can get it on YouTube, on Roku or not, but this one's not even listed as an option.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's I doubt it's on Blu-ray yet, because I still have the original DVD, and like all it has on it is pick a scene, credits, and play movie. Like there's no special features. There's nothing like any type of commentary, obviously.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the plot of the video game and the movie. So the video game is primarily just like, a side scroller where Super Mario is in the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's actually attacked by a turtle race of Koopas. So this is where the movie really like lost me, because this whole thing starts with this like animation of dinosaurs, and you're sitting there and you're just like, okay, like Super Mario Brothers dinosaurs, sure. And like the Super Nintendo version, they like dove into like more of the dinosaur aspect of it. But in the original, it's just like turtles and mushrooms and like bombs and stuff like that. So when they did the whole dinosaur, and it said that a meteor flips our world into two dimensions where dinosaurs evolved into humans, and obviously on our world, they have the theory of evolution from apes. Movie starts with that, and then the very first thing we do is get the actress who's playing Daisy playing her mother, dropping her baby off at a church. Something weird about that. This whole movie is based like evolution. And she just had like, oh, I'm going to take my baby, which I just brought into another dimension, to a church. Like something about that, I'm just like, wait, what? How does that make any sense?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's really weird. I mean, it just starts off really weird and just gets weirder, I think.
Yeah, and then you meet the Super Mario Brothers, who are just two poor plumbers fighting just to get a job. They don't really go into the ages, but obviously there's a huge gap between Mario and Luigi. I'm assuming Luigi's maybe 18 to 21, and Mario's obviously 40 plus.
Yeah, and then Mario's British and Luigi is Puerto
Rican, but casted to play the two Italian brothers that are named Mario, and Luigi Mario. And I actually looked that up, and that's not something that's that rare, because it's a surname. So you can definitely have it. It's just very improbable to happen. But yeah, you get introduced to those guys, and they're just like poor plumbers fighting to get a job. There's this weird subplot where they're fighting like a mafia plumber guy who's just running into the Scapelli, like the most like generic mafia name you could think of, Scapelli. And they have that weird like back and forth where they're fighting to get to just plumbing accidents with each other, and that's how you run into Daisy. Like, it's just like, who sat down and was just like, you know what, this is how we're going to introduce Daisy to the Super Mario, I keep calling them Super Mario Brothers because it's just the Mario Brothers. Like there's these plumbers. Like you started off well, just like poor plumbers, and you just like lost me with this mafia aspect.
Yeah, and the characters are really dumb, like Luigi especially, but Mario too. It's just like a very, very dumb comedy aspect of the film.
And a lot of like some of the jokes definitely hit, but where they hit, it's more of the main actor they got for this film. That's Dennis Hopper, like the Koopa. Like every time he says something, regardless if it's an awful character in the movie, which we'll get to soon, because that character is just like spitting into the future basically when that came out in 1993. But yeah, Dennis, he was probably the only person who had like lines that delivered. But yeah, they run into Daisy. She's a archaeologist digging up bones in New York, and it was like the whole thing was like, oh, there are dinosaur bones in New York. Like, yeah, there's definitely dinosaur bones all over the world, man. So they made like that crazy idea. They meet Daisy. There ends up being a portal in this place because they find a meteor, and boom, you dive into Dino Hatton was the name of the city. And that's like the thing, like there's nothing in the video games other than Super Nintendo that ever had dinosaurs really. Like even Yoshi is a lizard with a shell on his back, and the turtles, and like everything in this was just like dinosaurs. And I'm trying to think, like, no, Jurassic Park's 94, right? I think. No, 92? I don't know movie dates. Basically, I'm like, we're wondering if they just wrote off like the popularity of dinosaurs.
Yeah, could be. Well, kids love dinosaurs, but they love Mario even more. That should have been the selling point, you know?
Yeah, and it's like that's the one thing. Like in this movie, as I'm rewatching it, I noticed that the main like script lines are all just people repeating each other's names. They say Luigi about 1,000,000 times, Daisy 1,000,000 times, Mario 1,000,000 times. It's just nonstop, small little fragments of like scripts, and then just names shouting like the entire movie.
Yeah, so then they like, and Dino Manhattan is this big, dirty, dingy ghetto kind of, and Koopa's trying to meld the two worlds together.
Yeah,
so that the dinosaurs can go to our world.
Which doesn't make it like that's the one thing too, is why doesn't he? So this portal opens, and obviously he sends his two henchmen, Iggy and Spike, who are obviously just riffs on characters from the game. Spike obviously being the turtle with the spikes, and Iggy in like the video games, I think is like one of Koopa's sons or kids or something like that. But in this, they just make them dumb idiots who go into our world just to steal women who they believe is the princess to bring back this piece of comet to mend the worlds. But I'm like watching this, and Koopa hates the world. It's like a huge, disgusting, dirty place, he says over and over again, because he's a huge germaphobe. Why would you not just take you and whatever you believe, powerful, and just go through that little portal and start taking over the world? You know what I mean? Why bring your disgusting city into what you want to take over eventually and use our resources and stuff?
And there's like fungus all throughout this movie, but it's like
trust the fungus.
It's like slime. It's not like a mushroom like we know from the game.
Yeah,
it's like a slimy slime that's all over everything.
Yeah, and everything's like running off like bumper car style, where they're just like on the electrical grids and stuff like that with the cars and everything. It's just like the weirdest thing, because they have all these levels from Super Mario Brothers video games, and they do, I guess, two nods. You can consider that Koopa Land or Dino Hatton or whatever Trump Tower place, because King Koopa is Donald Trump. As soon as you land, like, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's pure image, like it's mirror. Do you get that off that?
Yeah, he does look like a Donald Trump. And of course, Donald Trump was a major player in New York back in the 90s too.
Oh, yeah.
So it could have been a direct comparison even back then.
Name over everything, Koopa this, Koopa that. Posters everywhere, which is his face. Like, it was just, and like seeing it now, I'm just like, I can't believe that. Like, the directors, even though they're probably, I don't even know what they would be doing now. I'm assuming poor and homeless, but I don't know what they got to be watching that and just being like, man, we definitely called that straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So Koopa is this crazy, obviously, guy who wants to take over our world with his world, and he needs the comet piece that Daisy has. Super Mario Brothers end up getting involved somehow. Luigi falls in love with Daisy. Mario is just this out for revenge, angry Italian guy. And it just leads into this, like, just nothing that even resembles the video game, minus a mushroom here and there and the babam.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the smallest things that, like, don't really,
and Yoshi.
Yoshi, I was going to say, like, so what parts of this movie to you actually resemble the video game, other than the names and, some characters?
I think Bob Hoskins kind of physically looks like Mario, because you imagine Mario as kind of like a stocky character. So I think physically he kind of looks like, as I would imagine Mario in real life. There's special shoes that this woman jumps with.
Yeah.
But the Mario Brothers never get those shoes, I don't think.
They get them for like the that woman's it's like I'm saying, these characters that they pick in this movie, that woman's name is Big Bertha, which is a play off the Super Mario Brothers 3 boss, which is a giant fish that tries to eat you the entire time. And like, I don't know if you remember when you used to be able to jump in those little boots and be able to like walk on like the spikes and all the vine monsters and stuff like that. That was like a play on those boots. And I guess like obviously just jumping. So they wear them for like 10 seconds. They jump around a little bit. They don't jump on anyone's head. They don't throw any shells at anyone. So like that's like, I'm just like, you had all these things you could have took, and this is where you get these giant like MC Hammer boots.
Yeah, there's no turtles, I don't think, in the game. In the movie, I mean, there's no turtles. That's really about it. It barely resembles the game in any way. I don't think.
Yeah, not whatsoever, other than just being characters and names. I don't mind that they tried to go somewhere different, but they definitely just like dropped the ball in every aspect. Now I'm not gonna, don't get me wrong, I love this movie growing up and I still enjoy watching it now, but for it to be what it could have been, like, it completely lost me. So that's why I'm just like, you had all these things you could have done, you just didn't do it.
It's great as a train wreck movie, and just watch it and be amazed at how off center they went, you know?
Yeah, like it's absolutely one of those ones where it's a guilty pleasure, as much as people don't like to say that. It's absolutely guilty pleasure. What were your favorite parts from the film?
My favorite part is the dance club scene where were singing "Love Is the Drug," the song that they also used in Monkey Bone, and it's a very similar scene.
No way, really?
Yeah, it's the same song from Monkey Bone in the nightclub scene in Monkey Bone. "Love Is the Drug."
Talk about like such a seductive dance between Mario and Big Bertha. Like, they really were getting at it.
Yeah.
They were just like, and that's the only thing. The movie like does these weird things with music. Like, I actually applaud the soundtrack. I was listening to it because I was gonna try and rip something for the show. And I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, I actually really enjoyed this. This is like something I would just like mess around and throw on the radio or whatever just to play. And you got the Walk Like a Dinosaur like right after that. So it does that slow, seductive, sensual dance right into like that choreographed 90s where everyone's doing the same move, like that lizard move.
Yeah.
Like an action set piece where they're putting those boots on and jumping around the place.
They had the song "Everybody Wants to Do the Dinosaur."
Yeah. Walk Like a Dinosaur. It's so good. Like those are like those things that like I always remember, like that dance scene, the elevator scene where they start rocking the Goombas back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good. Like and again with the Goombas and them using characters, you get Toad. You meet Toad, and they use the character, which is just a guy, a poor guy sitting on the streets singing and just trying to make it, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if he put a guitar thing down, try to get some change, but he's singing exposition. Like, he's telling you what happened, why Koopa's there. And then once he gets arrested with the plumbers, they're in the jail cell and they're talking again. And he's giving you even more exposition of why Koopa, what happened with the worlds and stuff like that. And just explaining the Mario Brothers. And then they turn him into these giant creatures, which is the Goombas, which have no resemblance to the little mushrooms you jump on in the video game.
Yeah, they have a big chest, they're really tall, and then a tiny little dinosaur head.
I feel for those actors that had to wear those suits every day and do what they had to do.
Yeah, the effect works, though. It's a good special effect.
Yeah, all the practical effects definitely do work. That's like another thing, like another good part of this film is that they definitely went practical. The minimal CGI that they do with like the phasing in and out when the worlds are meeting, like that stuff doesn't really hold up. But the practical effects absolutely hold up.
Yeah, definitely. And then my least favorite part would be the Koopa cousins. They were just so stupid, and then they got evolved into smart, and they were even more annoying.
Because it's like, I feel like the director was like, all right, so if we're gonna make them smart, we won't necessarily have to be smart. We'll just have them say huge words, and like that's what I'm saying. They're just saying big words like transmorphication and then metamorphosis and stuff like that. I'm like, so they're not really smarter. They just got a better diction or verbiage in their head.
Yeah. They were irritating big time.
Yeah, and that machine, like the de-evolutionary machine, did he just take one after another person, just put them in that little chair and just have to do it one after another to get all the Goombas that he had and stuff like that?
Another favorite part is when Daisy introduces Luigi to her dad. I thought that was pretty funny.
Do you know who's playing her dad?
No, who?
Lance Hendrickson, the guy from like Alien and
Oh,
Pumpkinhead
wow.
and everything. I'm
Trip
sitting there.
out.
Yeah, it's like 3 seconds, and he just comes down, blows fungus out of his mouth, and he just goes, "Gotta love those plumbers," and like just cuts out. Like, I wonder how much money they had to pay him. Like, Lance, look, this is all I need you to do. You're gonna come in. The whole movie, you're gonna be a giant booger. And what I need you to do at the very end is just show up on set for 20 minutes. I don't even care if you get the line right, and we'll pay you $5 million. He's probably like, all right, I got you guys. I'm not shooting Pumpkinhead 2 until next week. I don't even know if he was in Pumpkinhead 2. I hope he was. But yeah, like that. Do you have like what other than your favorite parts and your least favorite parts? Like, what do you think on like the entire casting? Did they hit Luigi and Mario, or would you have liked to seen like Michael Keaton or Danny DeVito or Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I still don't understand Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, Tom Hanks too was supposed to be in it.
Oh wow, Danny DeVito I think would have been good.
Oh yeah,
the casting's not bad. It's talented actors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's funny that the ethnic differences between the characters, but I mean that's kind of humorous. But
I mean they hit it, you know.
They played good Italian. They sounded like Italians and acted like Italians. So.
Yeah, like straight out of New York. And like I just love that nice little Lance Hendrickson nod at the very end. But yeah, like even though it's a bomb and people might not like it, it's definitely an enjoyable film to dive into. It does not match up to the video game whatsoever, other than the names. But I heard this morning from a special source that they actually like greenlit one back in November of 2017 for like an animated computer version of the Super Mario Brothers. Obviously not this 1993 version, but actually following the video game.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, especially with what they do with animation now. Like if there's something like Pixar, I feel like would just like just mouth water over just to get like their hands, even though they like to do original things. Like you can do original things with a character that everyone loves, that no one's really seen film wise. So I would love to see like Pixar or someone get something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
With that being said, Mormo, I'm gonna blow the warp whistle on you, which if no one's played a Mario game before, that is a special cheat in the game. That's my favorite cheat ever. But look, I know this film doesn't live up from code to script. But if you had your opportunity and your chance and the money or just the resources to make your own Super Mario Brothers film, how would you do it, man?
Well, probably if I were to go back to 93, I really like the Captain Lou Albano Mario. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I was researching all those ones, man. That's so great.
I think a better Mario movie would have been Captain Lou Albano as Mario in a mixed animation live action movie. I think would have been much better. He was great.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Why would you not go back to that?
Super Mario Super Show, I think is what it was called.
They did the song in the beginning. They went to the animation here and then, and they would come back. Like that was wow. Like if you did that now with the the things that they can obviously do with film now, dude, that'd be so great. Is Lou Albano still around?
I'm not sure if he is or not, but that would be like my 90s take.
Yeah, okay,
It would have been a better movie, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Would you do it now live action, or would you go more animated what they're trying to do? Like if you were doing it right now?
Probably a mix of live action and animation mixed together.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because, I mean, why not do what Who Framed Roger Rabbit did and just, update it, basically, and then get Super Mario Brothers in there?
Yeah, and you could make him jump and break bricks and collect coins and everything, all the things you did in the video game.
Yeah, wear the raccoon suit.
But use computers to animate it and everything. You wouldn't want a movie where you're just watching somebody play Mario Brothers.
No, absolutely not. Because you just want to go into the world, just like with Super Mario 64, when you got like that whole 360 view of Mario's world, and it wasn't just necessarily the side-scrolling effect of that was insane. So if you could get that on film and just like really dive into super, I don't even know if he's a plumber anymore. I'm pretty sure he's just like a handyman now, which is weird. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. What's that about?
Yeah, they like retconned his like plumber background and made him a handyman. Nintendo did that. Like happened like in 2017. I don't know if they stuck by it because there was like a huge uproar. But if you're gonna do this, like that's like if you're gonna play, it's just like in the one scene. I was just in the movie when they're fixing, like they're doing the only plumbing they do in the entire film. It's like an ER surgery scene when Mario just like so and so's tool, another so and so plumber tool, and the guy this writer's probably like, all right, they use that tool for plumbing. Okay, I think they use that tool for plumbing. Like Bob, just do me a favor and yell out all these tools. John, hand him the tools. And we got an intense plumbing scene. Like, just live up the plumbing aspect, just like they did in the film.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you got to follow it out. Well, thank you for coming in, Mormo, man. I appreciate you coming in and talking about this film. It's been a blast for episode 1. Where can we reach you?
You can find me on mormozine.com. I'm on Facebook. I have a fan page, Mormo Zine, and Twitter, Mormo Zine. And those are the main places. My YouTube channel, I've been doing a lot of movie reviews lately. And so you can check me out on YouTube at Mormo Zine, and that's about it.
Awesome. What was the last movie you saw?
I saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It was just kind of mild on it. It was good. I was glad I used Movie Pass because it was to me, it was just kind of depressing, and but it delivered with the creature effects and the action and everything. So
cool, man. I can't wait to check out your review. I'm definitely going to check that out. I appreciate you coming in again, man, and talking Super Mario Brothers with me. And I definitely want to get you on soon and talk to you some more. All right, bud?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And thanks for listening, everybody. Again, this is from Code to Script. I'm your host, TJ. We'll be bringing you a whole lot more. Hopefully, if you guys enjoy it, even if you don't, you'll be listening to me nonstop about video games and my guests. So yeah, tune in, guys, and I appreciate it. Click and subscribe to Odd Shape Channel, and give it a like, guys. Thank you.